Today we have something a bit different, but this is still a mechanical keyboard, and this is the Havit low profile mechanical keyboard, and in turn we'll check out the new Kailh low profile key switches. Opening up the box, we have some paperwork which includes a small user guide, we have the keyboard itself, and we get a micro USB cable. And as we can see, this doesn't look like all the keyboards we've checked out on the channel so far. As said before, this is a low profile mechanical keyboard, so we have the low profile key switches, and this allows everything to be thinned down. This also makes it very light, but with the aluminium plate there's not much flex to it. It weighs in at about 500 grams, which is mainly attributed to that aluminium plate. They've gone with quite a simple rectangular design from the top view, and they have an angled profile with a natural angle of elevation, so it's actually not as thin as it could be, with the front of the case being an indication of how thin it could be throughout the board. It is tapered all the way around to make it appear thinner as well. There's a chamfer around the black aluminium revealing a chrome edge, and it is a nice smooth finish on there which doesn't really show fingerprints. There is their logo above the arrow keys, which I'm never really a fan of, but at least it's not popping out or stamped or anything. The typeface on the keycaps is simple and it worked for me. I'm just happy they didn't go with any gamery font, so good on them. These keycaps though are thin ABS keycaps, which is fine I guess, which is probably because of their limited options at the time, and these are the type that are coated in black and then laser etched to allow that light to shine through. So this is like the Razer and Corsair keycaps, and these are very sensitive to oils from your fingers, so they shine up very easily and will eventually have that permanent shine. As for the actual thinness of the keyboard, this is the thinnest mechanical keyboard I've had and I've used, so I'll compare it to some others that I have. This Vortex core is probably one of the thinner MX switch keyboards, and because of its flat case and DSA keycaps, it's actually not that much taller than the tall side of the Havit keyboard. This Tesorogram Spectrum, which is another low profile keyboard but uses different and taller key switches, is also not that much taller, but it's also much flatter. The An Pro, which is a pretty normal 60% keyboard, is way thicker, also having natural inclination to it. And finally, this IKBC C104 is just the stock standard full-size keyboard. It has normal OEM keycaps and is also obviously much thicker. To be expected, it is a very thin mechanical keyboard, but because of its angled design, it's actually not as thin as it could be, and is only a tad shorter than the Vortex core and the Tesorogram Spectrum from its taller side. But while that is the case, it definitely feels and looks much thinner than it actually is. It's also using sculptured keycaps, so they're not just flat from the side profile like what you'll see on something like a laptop. On the rear we have a micro USB port, but notice how it has some plastic surrounding it. The good news is that with the included cable, it makes for a safe and secure connection, however it will not fit most other cables. I actually couldn't find the included cable for most of the testing period, so I had to strip off the housing on one of my micro USB cables, so that's something to keep in mind. And on the bottom we have some rubber feet and two flip-up feet. So overall, in terms of aesthetics and how it looks, they haven't done much wrong at all. Of course it doesn't have that premium look, but at the same time it doesn't scream gamer. I can tell that they've kept to a simple design, and in my opinion it looks quite fine, but this is of course just the personal thing. Now to the main feature, which are the key switches. So pretty much all the mechanical keyboards we check out on the channel have Cherry MX key switches or a clone of it. However, this keyboard uses low profile Kailh key switches, which is based on the Cherry ML series, but has quite a few differences. Unfortunately, I don't have an ML board, so I can't make direct comparisons in its shape and such, but I'll link a video in the description below which does. So as we can see, these are very short and everything is different to an MX style switch. The one I have here is blue and has both the Kailh and Dare You logo. However, it does say that it is from the Kailh PG1350 series, so it still should be the same as the standard clicky switch, which is white. With a completely different shape, this is not compatible with any MX keycaps, PCBs and plates. It's also not compatible with Cherry ML keycaps because the stem isn't offset. As said before, this is a clicky switch, and the way it produces that click is different. A standard MX switch will use a click collar, however this uses a click bar. So as we can see here, when we push the key down, the stem will move that bar, and finally it will release and hit that housing to create that sound. And without that click collar, there is no rattle at all after the click. The other unique characteristic with the click bar is that there's 2 clicks for each keystroke, so one on the way down and another when it goes back up. And since there is no other bump on the stem, that's what also creates the tactile bump, which isn't as strong, but it is still there. And the sound the switches create is a quite sharp and high-pitched sound, and it's very clean in its sound but also in its feel. So when we add that to the short travel distance of the key switches at 3mm with an actuation distance of approximately 1.4mm, it makes for a very unique typing experience. It's a very light and crispy experience that is quite refreshing to me personally, having mostly used the typical 4mm travel distance switches. The stabilized keys, which are all the longer keys, feel very sharp and responsive and produce no rattle, which is really nice to see. Each size of the stabilized keys have a unique shape to the metal bar, and the key switch housing itself is also different, as the top housing has the little ridges to pop the stabilizer wires in. I've also checked out the Tesorogram Spectrum, which is also regarded as a low profile keyboard, but they are completely different as we can see by the key switches. Another thing is that by having the keyboard more flat, it is a bit easier on your wrists if you do rest them on your desk. This is a backlit keyboard, so we have a variety of lighting modes which is accessed via the function key at the bottom, with the arrow keys controlling the brightness and speed of the effects. We can also customize the lighting by picking what keys we want to be lit up by pressing function and F12, and we have 5 profiles, so we can pick one and then customize it as you please, meaning that we can have 5 different custom lighting profiles for different situations if needed. However, we can do more if we download the software from the website. We can easily pick and look through the lighting effects here, and we're able to control brightness and speed here as well. We can also adjust the response time and report rate if need be. However, the more useful feature here is being able to customize each key. So we can set it to do a combination, open up a program, be some sort of shortcut and all that. We can also assign a macro to it, like type out a sentence. This can be very useful for people who take advantage of it and take the time and effort to set it all up. Opening the keyboard is easy with a couple of Phillips head screws which are hidden under some keycaps. And here's the bottom ABS plastic shell, and it has some ribbing on the bottom surface for reinforcement, and as we can see there is a heap of room because of its angle design, so future keyboards with these key switches do have the potential to be thinner. And here's the rest of the keyboard with the PCB and key switches mounted onto the 1.5mm thick aluminium plate, and we can see how thin the key switches actually are, and you can imagine what different designs for cases could be. The PCB itself is clean and I had no issues with it. It is different looking to the normal MX PCBs, but it's still the same in that we have the 2 switch pins, the center prong, and we also have the 2 other prongs that hold it with the PCB. Then there's the diodes with our SMD LEDs and the resistors for those. Overall, it's a very unique experience because it's quite new, and that there's not like really any other keyboards that I can see on sale right now that have these key switches, but I do know there's quite a few that are going to come soon, from like Vortex, Mistel, Tesoro and all of them. So I don't know, perhaps the brand you did have some sort of period where it was exclusive to them. And this is a budget keyboard as well, so the build is what you expect with a thin aluminium and plastic. The keycaps are coated ABS, so they do shine off really easily, but I don't know if they had any other options at this time for backlit keycaps. I like the simple singular color lighting, and I happen to like blue, but probably white would have been more flexible with other setups. But what it really comes down to is the typing experience, and I know many won't feel comfortable with the reduced travel distance, but at the same time many outsiders may actually prefer it, as it's not too far from a laptop experience. Using a click bar mechanism, it's loud with a high pitched sound and has a very crispy clicky feel to it. It's also very light to type on, and with the short travel distance it makes for a very easygoing experience as well. It is a cool alternative mechanical keyboard, and I for sure enjoyed having a break from the traditional stuff with this, and perhaps you may too.